Hi, so here's a little introductory information about a recipe that I'm going to make that's lentil and chickpea soup. This is something that I know, and we know, historians know, that was made and eaten in the biblical days. What I've learned about this is that the first century diet was quite healthy. Over 50% of calorie intake came from grains and legumes. Wheat, barley, and other grains were some significant crops in the Middle East, and legumes, especially chickpeas, lentils, and fava beans, were dried so they could be used as staples throughout the year. And this was able to sustain people through seasons when fruits and vegetables were not available fresh. And first century people of average means rarely ate meat. So a chickpea and lentil soup would be a quite common dish, vegetarian with no additional meat. Most cooking vessels were pottery. Wealthier families might have used metal cookware such as copper or bronze, which cook better. They're better conductors of heat, but were very expensive, so not available to most people. There's some facts about the lentil and chickpea soup that was eaten in biblical times. So I am going to start by chopping one onion. And unfortunately, I haven't discovered yet a great secret to avoid onions making me cry. So I'll probably have to pause this video while I cry while I'm chopping this onion. But I've cut away the skin, and I don't really have any super special technique for chopping the onion. Cut it in half, and then some slices. And then I like to have a cutting board that's easy to move around so that I can change the direction, and then just cut those slices the other way so that I end up with roughly the same size sections of little squares of chopped onion. So I'm going to do that with the whole onion. And I'm going to cut some garlic now, 3 cloves, which I'm going to take the clove, take the big knife and push down on it, which helps release the skin. And I'm just going to do my best to mince it up with no special trick other than I will put a little bit of salt on top of the garlic on the cutting board. And somehow that's a trick that makes it easier to mince the garlic. And I'm trying to make this as much as of a one pot type of thing, or as little dishes that I can use as possible. So I have the onion and garlic in the pot that's going to be the same pot that I make the whole soup, doing some olive oil, and I'm going to cook these up. All right, so I've been cooking that onion and garlic on about 6 heat for a few minutes now, for maybe about 10 minutes. I wasn't exactly counting, but they look nice and translucent as I just showed you. So now I'm going to keep adding ingredients to the soup. So I'm going to use 6 cups of chicken broth. This happens to be a giant box that has 6 cups, but you can use water mixed with bouillon, or, if you can't find a 6-cup box, use, a different size box or can. Just adding up to 6 cups. And adding that all in. And in the meantime, I rinsed the other ingredients that need rinsing. So I have a bag of lentils that I rinsed here that I'm gonna dump right in now. And I have 2 cans of chickpeas or garbanzo beans, it's the same thing, that I've also rinsed. And I'm gonna dump in. And then the spices, which is going to be cumin. And I would do a healthy dose, excuse me, of cumin. Cilantro leaves, also a pretty healthy dose of that. And then only a tiny bit of ground mustard. I'm gonna put it on my hand to make sure I don't add too much. So actually I'm just gonna add that much because actually this container is empty. So that's all I have anyway. And then some salt and pepper. And the amount of salt that you add might also depend on what kind of chicken broth you used. So this is a regular chicken broth, so you don't want to add too much salt. But I find sometimes if I buy the low sodium chicken broth, then I actually end up adding more salt. But you can always add salt later on after you taste it as well. So no worries there. I'm just going to show you like what it looks like on the top in terms of how much cumin and cilantro that I added. And I'm going to stir that together. And then the plan is to bring this up to a boil. Okay, so I am here checking on the soup. What I had done was turned it up till it got to a boil. And then I put it all the way down on low so that it could get down and start to simmer. And I'm checking on it now. And the lentils still look a little bit undone. Like usually they get more mushy than that. Sorry, this is like a very imperfect camera system right now. But as you can see, the liquid is getting pretty well absorbed. So I'm going to add 2 cups of water and keep it simmering and check on it again. So this has now been going for about 50 minutes, 50 minutes after I added the extra water. And I tasted it. How I know it's done, again, more than by the time it's the textures of the lentils that I tasted them, and they taste nice and the right texture. I decided to add more cumin, again, just by taste, and some more salt as well to taste. And give you one final shot of the end product before it's ready to serve. And that's it. That's the lentil chickpea soup. Thanks for watching.